Under the presidency of the Republic of Turkey, the Directorate of Communications in the fight of COVID-19, in the context of the project of explaining the model of Turkey, we will get ambassadors' evaluations related to activities in the process of the pandemic in Turkey. Dear Ambassador, you experienced the COVID pandemic in Turkey, the one that swept the world. Regarding this period, what do you think about Turkey's positive side on the highlights?
Well, thank you very much. I think Turkey's response to the pandemic has been extremely impressive. Your world-class medical facilities have facilitated your response. And I'd like to say a special thanks and highlight the wonderful work of your medical professionals in all areas. It truly has been tremendous. The other area I'd like to highlight is also that Turkey quickly pivoted to transform your world-class manufacturing industry to produce PPE and medical equipment, not only for domestic use, but also for tens of countries around the world. And Australia also benefited from this. One of our companies had a long-standing contract for non-woven fabric, which is a critical ingredient for face masks. And we were able to continue to buy that from a company in Gaziantep throughout the pandemic, which made a major contribution to us meeting our face mask needs in Australia. So overall, it's been living here and experiencing it. Turkey's response has been first class.
Fantastic. Dear Ambassador, our President Recep Tayyip Erdogan ensured that very serious measures were taken quickly in order to overcome this process with the least damage in our country. How quickly have the current measures taken in your country? Have you ever had a problem with this?
Sure. Well, when the pandemic arose, the Australian government took very tough measures to control the movement of people entering the country and exiting it. So we limited that particularly, and it was very helpful in controlling the movement of people and the spread of the pandemic. Turkey has taken a somewhat different approach due to your needs, and you've kept open the economy and the movement of people and maintain your critical tourism industry. But overall, what I would say is both countries have responded very successfully in their particular contexts.
Dear Ambassador, as you know, in our country, there's no charge for the treatment of COVID-19 from Turkish citizens, as well as foreign citizens, by health institutions. The government offers completely free treatment. Regarding this issue, did you have the chance to inform your citizens living in our country? How is the treatment process progressing in your country? And can you explain the similarities and differences for us?
Sure. Well, like in Turkey, the Australian government has ensured that the treatment and also the relevant medicines are available to all of our citizens that have been impacted by the COVID-19 virus. At any one time, there are thousands of Turkish Australians living both in Turkey and Australia, and they are a key bridge in our relationship between the two countries. And I'm very confident that no matter where they were, in Turkey or in Australia, they got first-class medical care.
During the pandemic, there were some restrictions in our country, as well as the whole world. Restaurants, cafes and parks were closed from time to time. What was the thing you missed the most in this process? Could be in Turkey or in your own country.
Sure. Well, restrictions were obviously understandably put in place, and that was an important element of limiting the spread of the pandemic. However, the thing that we missed the most, my family and I love to go out on the weekend and spend time in parks and cafes, eating wonderful Turkish food and travelling around the country because it's a great country to travel around. So obviously for quite a long time that was not possible, but we understood why. But we do very much like getting out and about in Turkey.
And have you gone back home? Have you visited family at home or anything like that?
No, not since this problem arose.
Okay. Dear Ambassador, what do you think about the vaccines developed?
Sure, I'm aware that Turkey is developing its own vaccines and they're making considerable progress, and hopefully they'll be available soon to the public here along with the other internationally sourced vaccines. And I'm aware that internationally a couple of your eminent scientists have been instrumental in developing one of the vaccines, Dr. Sheehan and Dr. Tereji, and they have done a wonderful job. I believe that all people in Australia and also in Turkey should vaccinate themselves when those vaccines become available. And my family and I will be doing that when our turn comes along.
I mean, you're probably going to repeat this, but what is your advice to your citizens about the vaccination?
Well, I encourage everyone to have it when their time comes. It's very important, I think, for stemming the spread of the pandemic. It's obviously not over, and unfortunately there are still cases around the world every day, and the only way to sort of stop the spread and break the cycle is for people to be vaccinated.
As you know, Turkey is at the forefront of most countries in terms of vaccines and vaccinations. Currently, all healthcare workers and 95% of seniors have been vaccinated. Could you give us some information about the current situation in your own country?
Well, Australia has started vaccinating last month, and it's a very similar set of priorities. Medical workers, first responders, and also elderly people are being prioritised for the provision of the vaccine, and then we'll gradually move throughout the community.
Parents see the most positive aspect of the pandemic as having the chance to spend more time with their children and family. Does the same thing apply to you?
Yeah, we've had a lot of quality time together on the weekends in particular when children weren't allowed out, and that's been very beneficial. There's been some interesting new experiences, distance education and helping our children with that, which was a learning experience and at times challenging. But we do understand in our family why the restrictions were required, and we very much supported them. But of course, it required some adaptation. But we did get to know each other a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm. So your immediate family is here with you in Ankara?
For a long period, it was both my wife and I and our 3 children, but also my wife's parents were here for quite a long time.
So you got to spend lots of time with.
Yeah, and it was quite interesting for quite a while. Both the older, my parents-in-law and our children could not go out, so it was kind of an interesting household. But as I said, we understood why this was necessary.
Yeah, interesting times,
indeed,
to say the least. Yeah, dear Ambassador. And finally, what are your feelings that you want to share with Australian citizens living in Turkey? What do you want them to pay attention to the most in this process?
Sure. The first thing I'd say is well done. It's been a very trying year for all of us, but people have toughed it out. They've ensured that they've looked after their families and largely kept people safe, and they kept their businesses running. So it's been a concerted effort. The second message is you will need to keep it up, keep up the good work, because unfortunately the pandemic is not over and it's going to continue for some time, even with vaccines, and we all need to be careful. So we need to stay the course, but we've succeeded so far and we just need to keep going. So as I said, keep up the good work.
Great. Thank you. The Presidency of the Republic of Turkey, the Directorate of Communications, hosted Australian Ambassador to Turkey, Mr. Marc Brown, to discuss the context of the project, explaining the model of Turkey in the fight of COVID-19. We're all in this together. Let's pay attention to our hygiene, wear a mask, and keep social distancing at all times.